special guest. So today's special guest is going to be none other than my good friend Raghav. If you guys remember back in the days, Raghav had songs like Teri Baton, Angel Eyes. Yes, my brother Dips, what's going on? We had amazing talent. So if you guys want to join in before Raghav joins in, if you want to come on and start talking about some talent, you want to rap, you want to sing, you want to do any of
नमस्ते सर। हाय।
नमस्ते ब्रो, किधर से फोन कर रहे हो आप?
हाँ सर, कहाँ है आसिम भाई?
घर में होंगे, मेरे जेब में तो थोड़ी बैठे हैं।
आसिम भाई कहाँ है सर? नहीं दिख रहे।
आसिम भाई आज नहीं है भाई, अपने घर में है, मैं अपने घर में।
हाँ सर। और सर
तो
खाना हो गया?
कोई टैलेंट दिखाओगे आप? कोई रैप करोगे उसके लिए? हमारे लिए कोई रैप के खाना खाओगे?
हाँ नहीं सर, हो गया सर खाना। हाँ सर। और सर खाना हो गया?
कोई टैलेंट दिखाओगे आप? कोई रैप करोगे उसके लिए? हमारे लिए कोई रैप के खाना खाओगे?
हाँ नहीं सर, हो गया सर खाना।
शॉर्ट्स मैं लगा तेन सैंडल चल मेरे नाल बाकी प्लान कर कैंसिल।
बहुत बढ़िया। एक और थोड़ा जो सुना रहे हो?
एक मैं अपने ते लिखिया सी मेरी स्ट्रगल ਲਈ
सुना दिया।
अइया मेरा स्टेज नेम है एमबीएच, मतलब इसका मतलब है माफिया बॉय हैरी। सो एमबीएच थ्रू एमबीएच मुंडा करे स्ट्रगल, हंसी कुछ होना नहीं हो बिना करे हसल, रब तो वे दूर मेरे अंदर बसे डेविल बाकी सब में तो दूर, क्योंकि लो मेरा लेवल हले ते बहुत ज्यादा लाइफ विच ट्रबल, सफर बहुत लंबा पर होना यार सफर, हेटर्स दी मेरी उते पल पल नजर देख मेरी सक्सेस हो जो इनका कत्ल, होली होली ये किता किता ब्रदर करे तू हार्ड वर्क पर है नहीं तेनु सबर, स्लो मेरी ग्रोथ बट आई एम कीप गेटिंग बेटर। कहंदे एमबीएच मुंडा अज बनी फिरे रैपर, मेरी आप ना लड़ाई ना मैनू तू समझ आई, मैनू लब्बे अज मौके बस करदा मैं ट्राई उते ट्राई जद पहली बारी माइक ते मैं आया सीगा भाई, सीगा थोड़ा नर्वस सीगा थोड़ा शाई, झूठे लोका तू गारंटर में आई क्योंकि कोई नहीं हो यार इथे मंगदा भलाई तू ना आई, कॉल मेरे तेनू करा अनफ्रेंड रियल ना यार मैं तक करा टाइम स्पेंड बहुत फिर ले कुड़ियां दे पीछे मुंडा सिंगल होने दा कोई गर्लफ्रेंड।
वेट जाओ, पंजाबी सुनो।
जरूर पंजाबी सुनाओ। गिटार पे भाई नेकी और पूछ
तू सब जानदा है मैं छड्ड नहीं सकदा तेनू, ताही तां उंगलां पे रोज नचांदे मैनू, तू सब जानदा है मैं छड्ड नहीं सकदा तेनू, ताही तां उंगलां पे रोज नचांदे मैनू, अगले जन्म विच अल्लाह ऐसा खेल रचा के भेजे मैनू तू बना के भेजे, तेनू मैं बना के भेजे तो फिर तेनू पता लगना वा पिता जावा पानी खारा खारा वे मैनू तू छड़ जा, गल्ला तेरिया हुण लगदा नहीं यारा।
बहुत बढ़िया बॉस, बहुत बढ़िया। आपने एक कर दिया तो एक और करना पड़ेगा ब्रो। इतना अच्छा गा रहे हो तो एक तो और करना पड़ेगा।
एक और
एक
मेरा
और करो।
गाना है जी जी जरूर। कौन सा गाना आप बताओ कोई भी।
आप मुझे बताओ, कोई भी सुना दो, कोई फेवरेट, कोई बॉलीवुड का गाना हो या पंजाबी गाना हो, कोई भी जो आपको अच्छी तरह आता है।
अच्छी तरह से ये है
गाना
दर्शन
कोई
का।
कोई भी गा दो, कोई भी गा दो, कोई फुल नहीं है।
अभी अभी तो मिले थे फिर जुदा हो गए। क्या थी मेरी खता जो जुदा हो गए। मुझे खोने के बाद एक दिन तुम मुझे याद करोगे। फिर देखना मिलने की मुझसे तुम फरियाद करोगे। मुझे खोने के बाद एक दिन तुम मुझे याद करोगे। फिर देखना मिलने की मुझसे तुम फरियाद करोगे।
How are you, my brother?
Nasty, man, remember?
Yes, of course, I remember you, my brother. I did get your message on Messenger. I will sort that out, my brother. Just a little
Yeah.
bit busy, but yeah. So you know what? Since you're on here,
No
you
worries.
used to be an MC. You know, you gotta drop something for us, my brother.
Bro, that's all changed now, man. I can't drop that. But I can sing you a Nasheed line if you want.
Please, please go ahead, man. You know, it's a blessing. I think we can all use the blessing right now at this time. What's happening in the world? So a nasheed, for people that don't know what a nasheed is, can you just let people know what it is?
Absolutely. It's called Teri Jaliyon Ke Niche.
Then what? No, but what I mean is, for people that are not Muslim, what is a nasheed?
All right. Nasheed is basically, and you can call gospel if you want to.
Okay, go ahead. So if you can sing a couple of lines of that, that'd be appreciated.
No problem. तेरी जालियों के नीचे तेरी रहमतों के साए, तेरी जालियों के नीचे तेरी रहमतों के साए, जिसे देखनी हो जन्नत वो मदीना देख आए, जैसे देखनी हो जन्नत वो मदीना देख आए, तेरी जालियों के नीचे तेरी रहमतों के साए. Hope that was okay, bro.
Amazing, brother, amazing, and thank you for blessing this session. Thank you for coming on. You know, like I think it's a blessing for somebody to come on. I mean, we do a lot of songs, we do a lot of raps and stuff, but somebody to come and give us God's blessing, especially in the time that we're living right now with the coronavirus. I think everybody could use some sort of a blessing from our God. Whatever God you believe in, Guru, Bhagwan, Allah, it's all the same. We all praise to the mighty Lord.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
And I think it's really good for somebody to come and give that word of God, whatever language it is, whether it's Arabic, whether it's Sanskrit, whether it's like that.
Oh, that's too bad. I have nothing to hold it up. This is my first time doing this, everybody, in case y'all can't tell.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the infamous Raghav in the house. So a big round of applause going out to you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming. Before I start,
Yes,
one of my favorite tunes. Of course, this is Teri Bato. I mean, like, I gotta let this play for 10 seconds before we get into it, my brother.
how you doing, my man? Where are you?
Me, I'm in England, my brother. I am in Birmingham, England. This is where I live now. I miss Canada, but there's no hockey going on, so it's not that bad, right? So welcome to the show.
I just want to wish happy Vaisakhi to everybody.
Yes, happy Vaisakhi to everybody. Everybody that's celebrating. It's a festival. And
Every
I
bit of
think it's
celebrating is right.
exactly. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for, blessing the show with this. The show literally, Raghav, is about, we as artists understand that when we're coming up, there hardly was any platforms to come and showcase your talent. It's so hard for a young artist to find a studio to record, to see what they sound like. So this talent show is just literally raw. If you got talent, you want to come on, you want to say your words, rap, sing, dance, whatever you want to do, showcase it. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about anybody that's seeing it and maybe can connect with them. And that's how unity and love spreads. So that's what the show is all about.
Amen. I like that. That's what you've been about, actually. For it's been hard for everybody in this scene for a long time. Even those of us that I would say had what you would call so-called mainstream label success, because there was this thought during that period, and I'm talking 2004 to 2006, 2007, that there was this overriding fear that it was going to be treated like a novelty, who we are.
Yeah.
And so there was a real thin line of trying not to cross that into making sure that we, the folks that maybe didn't think this was a real scene for whatever bizarre reason that is, we wanted to make sure that we catered to, I'm going to speak for myself. I wanted to make sure that I made my people proud. The way that I grew up, I grew up in a multicultural community in Canada. So I listened to pop music and country music and hip hop and Bollywood and old school Indian classical music and modern Indian classical music. And so I kind of consider all that, and that was the truth of many of us that grew up outside of India. What I suddenly realized was that even Indians in India, because I didn't go there that often as a kid, had a similar experience. So it was relatable absolutely everywhere. And now what I tell kids is they got to remember that they got to create something so unique and so unique to them, because otherwise it's going to look like you're just following and catering. You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of a false world we live in, social media, even though we're all on it right now. It's sort of a false world where it's very easy to think that you have a hit or you've had success based on what you see right in front of you. But I can absolutely guarantee you the beauty of that is that you get to see it right away. But real amazing art will last a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades or longer. So I would ask people that are making art now, and I hate to use the word kids, but anybody, you could be 50 and decide you want to make a record today. That's the beauty of today, is that whatever you're doing, just make sure it's so good it stands the test of time. And
that's it, man.
And usually it's your first gut instinct that gets that.
I think what it is, and you're absolutely right, that this social media world is like a virtual reality. It's like a mirror. It's a mirage. Like, it's not really there. Like, yeah, okay, you put a song out and you have an immediate connection with a little bit of a fan base, which is like really 10% of what's really out there. Like, there's artists out there that've got like 500,000 followers on their Instagram, but they'll get like 10 comments. Do you know what I mean?
See, Roach, you are so good at this. I don't check for any of this. It's been a bit of my detriment.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't check for it. I'm just like, if I hear something I love or I make something I think people are gonna love hearing, then I'm like, I'm sure it's gonna find a way to connect.
Like someone like you. Now, you've made, when I say hits, I'm talking not just hits in the Asian scene. You've made hits worldwide, mainstream. When we talk about mainstream, for people that don't know what I mean by mainstream, is that non-Asian scene. So like people that are, in the worlds of like the Ed Sheerans, or like the worlds of like 50 Cent, like that's mainstream. And Raghav himself, in the early 2000s, I mean, he came out with certain records that actually crossed over into the top 40 in the UK. And that's not easy to do, because there's only really this much handful of people that have actually accomplished such a thing as yourself, or someone like Apache Indian, or somebody like Jay Sean. So
I sort of have come to despise the word, even though I may use it occasionally, because for me to, at the time, for example, equate myself that, I'm in the chart with Usher or Ludacris or whoever was in the chart at that particular time when I first started, was such an accomplishment for me. But I was there, and I've, over a period of 10, 15 years, I remained in mainstream charts. So maybe we as South Asian artists should stop feeling that inferiority to achieve that, when I think our platform is there. And so I think it's just about music that are going to make people feel something. You know what's amazing? I'm so trying to look at the comments at the same time. I'm very bad at this.
Shout out to Juggy
And
D. He's
people are like,
logged in. Shout out to Jasmine
and I will
Tucker.
sing at some point here today before I leave. But people are like, sing. So to me, it's like, that's amazing. I kind of disappear for a little bit. I don't do a lot of this stuff, and people want to hear my voice or they want to hear your bars, and it's like, that is art. So it's pretty cool.
But that's what you call timeless music, Raghav. Is like when you make a song, you're logged in. I don't know if he's still logged in.
Oh, okay. So Mambo, if you're here, Mambo's a legend. So
Yeah.
Mambo's there from day one.
Yeah.
But what I'd say is, the industry is sort of an insidious, abusive place, because as much as you say or I say, hey, make it for whoever or whatever you feel, it does kind of play one against the other. It's like, are you selling out your Asian side if you do something that's not that? And are you completely giving up on your fan base if you do something that's not incorporating as much? You know, if you listen to Storyteller, the songs that have stood the test of time were all the singles. But the next single before my label went into administration was No I. So it's like, is so confused. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you have to be two artists. I always give the Ricky Martin analogy. Like, Ricky Martin, everyone was like, oh, is he Latino enough, or is he pop, or what is he? And it's like, wait a second. Why is it that sometimes minorities in the music or entertainment industry are supposed to choose, like they can't walk and chew gum at the same time, that they're supposed to be an amalgamation of both, when he can't just people? I think Ricky Martin and Enrique are great because they go away and they do a Latino record and they do stuff for that fan base, and that fan base doesn't switch them off when they do something else. So like when I put out a record like Fire that definitely doesn't translate in the diaspora in the same way, but becomes a big hit for me, like it's a bridge to something else. I will say this though, I'm imperfect for sure, and there's times that I've made records in my career to try and keep my head above water, because you need the attention of those labels to give you a platform to be the artist you want to be. Otherwise, you're grinding in the trenches. But what I've come to realize is that I'm not in the trenches alone. So when I put out a song like Myra that has no drums in it or no beat or no nothing, it's just a beautiful Hindi song that really comes from my heart, and it's got 13 million streams or whatever. I look around in the trenches and everybody's there with me, so I don't feel alone. But it takes a long time to get there and understand that.
Yeah, of course. And I think you're absolutely right in terms of like, sometimes we get pressure to make certain types of music to attract those labels, and we're kind of like in between. It's a thin line between trying to please this side or please that side. But you're absolutely right with that comparison that Ricky Martin can make a song, you know, a pop song, like La Vida Loca would smash it, but then you'll go make a full-on Latin song, but the original fan base doesn't get turned off by it because they love you for whatever art you create, because they love you as the artist. So I think it's very important.
And I really hesitate now to give advice to the younger generation coming up, because it's going to be, they know what they want to do. They know what's in their heart, and they know exactly how to make great art. But now, I thought you lived in Canada, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Canada all my life in Toronto, and then, you know, but then with you got to go back. I didn't, man. I got, you know, I ended up staying here, and my life flourished here, and then literally just that was it, man. I'm stuck, man. Save me.
Well, that's good. I miss England. I miss so much about the UK. I miss India, and being here in Canada's. Right now, I'm happy that I'm here. I hope everybody that's tuned in, they're healthy and they're safe. But right now, I'm happy to be here because it's a good place to protect your family from what's going on, and I hope everybody out there stays safe. But generally, culturally, I miss the UK so much. It's like the only place I ever really felt that I belonged. Because growing up in Calgary, I always felt like inside I felt too desi for even like my desi family and people around here. And like my other friends are wonderful, but I couldn't share that side of me with them because, you know, they didn't know that, which is totally reasonable. And then when I went to the UK, it was just like I kind of fit in and I belong. So I love living here, but the only place that I feel I really belong as a human being, as an artist, really is England. So I miss it. I miss it a lot, and that's why I try and get back. And not being out there right now for work is like
as you can see the comments, man, everybody's missing you. So I think, Raghav, I'm not sure if that's something you do, but you know, because there's a lot of fans that are tuning in from India as well, would it be possible for you to speak a bit of Hindi as well so they can connect to her?
I can speak Hindi?
Yeah.
My Hindi's so bad. I sing in Hindi okay, but can I speak Hindi? How about this? I'll sing a bunch of Hindi stuff before I leave here today. Is that okay?
Okay. That's good. कोई बात नहीं, मुझे हिंदी आती है, मुझे हिंदी जबरदस्त आती है, तो मैंने कहा अगर आपको आती है तो थोड़ा बात
मैं भी बोल सकता हूँ, but I know that some Mausi or some
mother tongue, is it Gujarati or is it Hindi?
No, Hindi. We're
It is
Mothers,
indeed.
so we are, we're like UP, it's like Gaius from UP, and so we're
Okay.
like
So
the
Uttar
Nigam
Pradesh is
Bachchans,
the
and
original.
we speak
Okay.
Hindi. So.
Okay. So did you? I don't ever remember you doing anything Punjabi. I don't think you've ever done anything Punjabi, have you?
No, and it was on purpose. Actually, it's funny you say that. That's mad, because this week I'm going to release the first thing that I've ever done in Punjabi.
Well, there you go.
This week or early next week. But it's a beautiful ballad. It's not like a club record or anything. And I'm going to apologize for it in advance. It's just a song I love so much that it's the first or second cover I've done in my whole career. So I'm going to put that out this week or next week. But I've always felt that, you know, right now the Punjabi scene is having like a well-deserved golden moment at the top of the kind of mountain. And it's been it's so well-deserved and so good to see. And everyone was like, oh, you should do this in Punjabi, you should do this, and you shouldn't care. And I was like, no, I'm too much of I've always felt that every artist, everything has its moment. And if you look like you're constantly running around chasing being something you're not, you end up without any home at the end of it. So 100%. I don't speak Punjabi, I don't do any of that. So you wouldn't see me try and pretend.
No, of course, man, of course. And for me, like, the thing is that, you know, I grew up to reggae music, and I dabbled into reggae music thanks to, of course, people like Supercat, thanks to Apache Indian. But like, a lot of people asked me, they said, you know, when we were growing up, and I'm sure you got that as well when you were doing the reggae blends, it's like, why are you trying to act black? And I used to tell them, I said, look, I'm not trying to act black. I love the music, reggae music. Now, I have to sing it in that dialect, because if I don't sing it in that dialect, it's not reggae, you know? If I was trying to act black, then anytime that I'm talking, like right now when I'm talking to you normally, right? If I was trying to act black, I'd be like, yo, Raghav, wagwan, bread, everything nice and cook and curry. That's trying to act black, because, you know, that's not me on the regular. But to be able to sing a certain genre of music, you're not trying to, you're just trying to show that love and respect for that genre of music.
Yeah, you know what? I mean? Like, everybody's so critical of one another. It's so shit. Everybody is who they are. We all are on a journey to find out the best people we are. We're influenced by things, and sometimes people make mistakes, and sometimes they go too far in trying to figure out who they are, especially artists. And ultimately, no one's trying to be anybody. I really believe this. No one's trying to be anybody other than the best that they can be. So, I mean, I think that it's so easy to get criticized. And as an artist, it's easy to get demoralized by criticism.
100%.
Legitimate criticism, like, I don't like your record, is fine. But today, you know, we've entered, since I first started making records professionally to now, we've entered a zone where people just want to, I mean, they want to crush you. And it's completely and totally abhorrent and unhealthy. And it's such a small minority of the people, like 99.9% of the people are wonderful, that I think over time, the next generation is going to have to figure how to not let these people have as great a voice in terms of how they treat others. So anybody that tells anybody you can think you don't like something, you don't have to connect with it, and you can have an opinion on it, but to tell somebody who they are being is incorrect, I think is just so abhorrent, you know?
100%. Okay, so Raghav, what I wanted to ask you was, in your entire career, which has been a span of over such a long period, what would you say is your song that defines you as the artist Raghav? I know it's hard to do that, but I need you to give me that one song.
Well, I think everybody out there in the world, I think, like, if I died tomorrow, it would say Angel Eye Singer Raghav Dies. You know, like, that's kind of the record I'm going to be known for. But there's a couple of other records on Storyteller, Bad Bad Bad, that never came out as a single, and Ain't Nobody, that to me were like, in terms of songwriting on Bad Bad Bad, and in terms of using that sort of garble on Ain't Nobody, I think we kind of tried to push the limits. And then on every album since, I think Love on the Phoenix album, and for sure Hamrahi on the Identity record, they've made me, you know, they define me as to who I am. But as far as the public goes, I know that, you know, there's still a lot of time, and I hope to make music that kind of beats that. It gives me something to surpass. But ultimately, I think that people out there, you know, when I'm traveling through airports all the time, I hear, "Hey, Angel Eyes," or more than I hear my name. So that's a beautiful thing, like, to have created something or been involved in something that people associate you with, hopefully forever, is like, it's amazing.
So Angel Eyes was the same rhythm as Murder She Wrote. We know that.
Yeah, I'm
And
aware.
no. I'm just letting people know. And
Okay.
and your Teddy Baton as well was the same rhythm as Murder She Wrote. So first of all, did Teddy Baton come out before Angel Eyes, or
Yeah,
was it
Teddy
after?
Baton came out first, and Sly and Robbie, who made the record for Shaka Demus and the
Yeah, of
Platinums,
course.
they
Of course.
produced like 5 or 6 tracks on the Storyteller album.
Yeah, I remember that.
And actually, Roach, this is for you. That lineage of that goes back to my first manager, Nyron, who worked with to Mambo, who worked with Apache, who worked with Sly and Robbie. So that lineage of how it happened, like the first CD I ever bought was Apache Indian.
Me too, bro.
I bought Apache Indian, I bought Snow, and I bought Michael Jackson's Dangerous all in the same week. So, so it's been pretty amazing to see how that lineage goes, and then Sly and Robbie, and then when I heard that beat again without any vocals on it, I was like, it's just so simple.
Yeah,
I could really make it a Hindi flex, you know?
Yeah, and that song, bro, like when we first heard it, like there was nothing of that sort at that time. Like there was Hindi music coming from Bollywood, and then there was reggae music coming with reggae vocals, but there was never really a blend of reggae with Hindi. There's a lot of blend with reggae and Punjabi, like Apache.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Bali Sagu, like they were doing all the reggae, and Punjabi was always there. But
I was making sweet boy Indian music, you know, like real.
Bro, that record, like, did you know that record was gonna have that impact when you were recording it?
No, I mean, like every record I've ever written, I like when I leave the studio, I'm like, oh my God, this is a smash. And then the next day I wake up and I'm like, I turn into Michael Jackson. I'm like, no, but oh my God, what's gonna happen? I'm turning into this insecure human being, you know? So it's like, that's what real art is just wondering, being confident, being vulnerable. But the best thing about that record for me is that for Teri Baton, which might have a little renaissance here, we're working on something. I vehemently disagree with like recreating records. I've never understood that, but we're doing something else with it. The most talented person I've ever known is my mom. She's, whatever she does, but she was never a songwriter before that. And but, you know, like at weddings, she would write little jingles for people or parodies or whatever. And I was like, oh, she's always so good. I wonder if she could come up with something fresh, and she did. And you know, for that record to kind of be, you know, the standard bearer of my career moving forward, turning into Angel Eyes is pretty cool.
No, that was phenomenal. And for me, like, you know, me coming from Canada, and then when I heard you, I didn't know you were Canadian. Like, I just, because obviously the music was coming from UK, so you just subconsciously believe that, you know, you're from the UK. Then when I researched and found out you're from Calgary, I kind of got mad. I was like, yo, Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Flames. I don't know if I can like this guy. You know?
I still am a vigilant Flames fan, but
I know you are, bro.
Over the years, as you know, as a Leafs fan, it does become defeating to be a fan of the Canadian.
It's very hard to
all
like.
The people in the mentions that I do look down, I am going to sing before I leave, 100%. But right now, I'm just talking to Roach, but I will absolutely sing, I promise.
No, of course, man. It's great. But I remember, like, you know, the song So Confused. Like, when I heard that track, like, it was something different, Raghav. It was something fresh. There was nothing like that of that sort at that time. How did that record come about? Like, what was, you know, did you get
That's crazy, because there's a producer called Two Play.
Okay,
He was in Chingford, and he loved reggae music.
Yeah.
And so he was doing a cover version of a really obscure record at the time called Turn Me On by Kevin Little. It was not a global hit yet. And so we did this cover, and our version is the one that kind of blew up in the UK. Yeah. And we were getting ready to put that out commercially. We couldn't get the publishing cleared. It was a cover. And in the end, Kevin put his version out. And I do not begrudge at all, because it's originally his. Like, the one chance I have to be a pop star, the one chance that I have to get a record deal is over already, because we had like a, you know, lucrative deal on the table, and it just went away. So we sulked for a couple of weeks, and then I said, send me some new music. And I was a lazy writer back then. Like, I was like 22, 23. I had better things to maybe do. And so I remember, like, in a mini cab from Barnet to Chingford, I wrote So Confused, and it was like so wordy, like, so girl, what you want to see? You want to see me get down on my knees? And so I was like writing it frantically in the mini cab. And then the rest is kind of history. Like, it was out of my hands. It was Wesley and his manager shopping it, and it became this record. We made a video to it. I'd never been in a video. Like, I didn't have like wardrobe, or I just showed up in London off the plane, and I was working on all that stuff on the side. I was working on all that stuff on the side, and there's something else going on here. So there's something else going on. And that's when I met Mushtaq. And that's when I met Mush.
Mushtaq is a great producer.
Mush is like, he's the spine of that sound on the Storyteller album. Between Mush and Sly, like, like everyone's like, oh, it's your sound. Like it's 1/3 my sound, 50% sound on each record. The producers are so integral to it. So what's been great this year is, you know, those relationships take journeys as well. People have lives and personal lives and professional lives, and artistically sometimes things don't always work. This last year, I connected with Mush again, and it was amazing. Like literally before this all kicked down, I was in Dubai, and I had a feeling like I've never had since 2004, that we created something that was going to impact that feeling again in people.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year, I was able to work with Rishi Rich. And Rich has always been like a super nice guy, but we never knew each other like that. Right. And I think there was always this perception that we were like in different camps, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know, bro. I know exactly.
Was even true early on that, like, but our paths always crossed. He was one guy, always kind, always amazing to me, and I hope he'd say the same about me. So it's like I kind of just put it out there. I'm like, would you like to work together? And we'd done a couple of things in the past. He'd done a mix of so much for me, and I'd appeared on a record with him and Jay and Juggy and Dreddy. It was called Stomp.
Yeah.
And so, but they were like little cameo things. But actually being and building in the studio with Rish was amazing. And then being back in with Mush is amazing. So I can promise you when this is over, people are going to be very excited by the new music. And
100%.
Until then, I'm re-releasing some old stuff, and I'm releasing some ballads. I have a ballad coming out called Sufi, which is just, you know, it's a very beautiful Hindi song that's going to come out with the folks at Geo Savan. So I'm just excited to be making music again, and I hope you're doing the same, my man.
Yeah, of course, my brother. So what I want to know is, Raghav, like, and this is from my personal, you know, knowledge, and I'm sure the people would like to know as well, like, music, like, it seems, or at least sounds to me, that you have been classically trained. Am I correct, or?
No. I did like a year or two of training with like a vocal coach here in Calgary, like Hindi styles. And then, I mean, as people kind of turned that into, oh, I was semi-classically trained. I mean.
And if you were to say there was one artist, living or not, that you would or would have liked to work with in your career, who is that one artist?
Yeah, Quincy Jones. Just a real musician, the best musician maybe. You know, it was always A.R. Rahman, but I've worked with A.R. obviously, sir. And
it was a phenomenal.
So that's amazing, and he's like a friend, which is incredible. So beyond Mr. Rahman, it was Quincy Jones. I'd love to work with Quincy.
And I seen the video of
someone just asked. Sorry, go ahead.
I seen the video with Abhishek. I think it's congratulating his sister's birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I tell you what, if there's one Indian guy that had the right to be born and be a jerk or feel entitled, it was him. He's the nicest, most humblest, funniest, coolest guy. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, Raghav, if you have any questions that you had read that you want to answer, or shall we go on this musical journey?
I see in there, I mean, a couple of people are like, are you upset that Bollywood kind of went into remixing songs? Like, I am upset about that.
Right.
One thing Neeraj Sayal always told me was that if you have an innovative idea in India and you copyright it, that just Indian, you know, that sometimes the Indian music industry or film industry thinks that the word copyright means they have the right to copy your shit. And so that happens everywhere, but for it to happen, you know, that's really disheartening. And so sometimes when people say, well, why don't you sample old songs again? Well, the business has changed. Once those labels found out it was so lucrative, what we were doing, they decided, well, it doesn't have to be as good. We don't have to take Kabhi Aaya Kabhi Baat and make it as great as what Mush did. They can just copy it and make it kind of water it down and get the same impact and use their platform. So yeah, I mean, that was really upsetting for me because it meant I didn't have access to stuff that I could pay homage to, I think, in a more artistically credible way. And 100%. It just kind of watered it down and without any regard for the art. You know what I mean, right?
100%, man. I understand. And I think what's happened is it's become quantity over quality over time. And that's just really, really ruined the whole mood of the music. And, you know, and they're taking all the classics, and you're right, like they're watering it down to kind of fit the pop genre. And people like us that grew up to the originals, will never be satisfied with that. But kids that have never really heard it before, and to them it's a new song, they're content with it.
Paying homage and using samples and interpolations in a manner that people feel something, I think is different than just like exploiting it. So look, God bless them, they're going to make billions of dollars on it. But you know, when people hear it on their systems, they know the difference.
100%, man. The quality is not there. All right. Any other questions before we get into your medley of amazing vocals?
You know what? I just love everybody. This is so unique for me because like everybody's always doing this. I don't, because I make sure I want to have something to say. So I appreciate you calling me to do it. I'm going to do it.
I'm really happy that you decided to come on. Like, I hit you up, and I've been hitting you up for, you know, every couple of years. I always hit you up and say, Raghav, let's get in the studio. Let's do something and stuff like that. Because the type of artist that I am, bro, like, I have no egos. I just love music so much. And I don't mind contacting somebody and saying, hey, bro, let's do something. Let's work together. It doesn't make me any less, doesn't make the other person any bigger. It's just a passion for the music. And me and Raghav have always kept in contact. We've always talked about doing some stuff. Maybe in the future we'll do some stuff. But it's just really, really humbling for me to have Raghav on this show, because, you know, there's so many people out there that have accomplished so many things in their careers, and Raghav is one of them. And just to even get some, you know, advice from Raghav on how to become an artist or how to write songs, anything that Raghav can tell us, whether it's me or young artists coming up, it's very important, because these people are accomplished musicians and done it over and over again. So you can tell that, you know, their career has never been a fluke. It's actually very well calculated at times, and knowing exactly what to do and when to do it. So I really appreciate you taking the time out and joining us over here and touch base with your fan base who have missed you over the last 10 years, man. Because
I know, I promise you, it's because I promise you that the reason why I haven't been as prolific in releasing records, people won't believe this, is because it's because I love my fans and I love music and I love art so much that I don't want to get caught chasing something that is not authentically me. And look at what Storyteller's done for my life. I want to have another record or another moment like that makes equal history that people remember. I don't want to just like
do it for the
throw
sake
stuff
of it.
against the wall and see what sticks. And I know that that's frustrating for some people, but I promise you, I'm doing it because I love music so much and because it matters to me.
100%, my brother. And I really thank you for giving us that knowledge and wisdom that you've passed on and shared with us. So at this moment, I know you had to go as well, but I think you totally forgot the timing, and you're having so much fun with us.
Yeah, I'm going to sing a couple of lines of what I see here before I go. So
please, man, please.
ओ मेरी दिलरुबा ओ मेरे पास आ कहीं ना जाना हो ओ तेरी आंखों में इकरार की बातों में भीगी भीगी रातों में मुझको है खो जाना हो तेरी बातों में ऐसा उलझा जिया बैठे ही बैठे मैंने दिल खो दिया oh there's no one above it we all need some loving some kissing and hugging like yeah 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 cause my baby's got ooh angel eyes oh yes my baby's got ooh angel eyes sun re maera अब जाने तेरे मेरे दरमियां हो ला 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 हो पूरे मा
Thank you so much, Raghav. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much once again for blessing us with your vocals. Thank you for everybody that joined us today. Raghav, if you have any questions, please let them know where they can contact you. What, you know, just let us know.
Yes, please. Obviously, follow me at Raghav Worldwide. And another thing for all you out there, we're selling limited edition copies of the vinyls of Storyteller, which we just got printed, and we actually just received them, the second batch, because of the virus, everything was delayed. I'm going to be donating a great portion of about 30% of all the profits of those vinyls are going to go to the Unison Fund, which helps artists during this time who've lost shows and can't afford maybe the bills that they got to pay, cost and figuring out the records. So info@raghav.com, follow me. Raghav Worldwide. If you place your order info or go to
Perfect, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, my brother. I think the internet
sure you follow
for you guys for joining in. I mean, Raghav's great vocals, the knowledge that he's passed on. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद सारे आना जिन्हें सारे join किया आज. ते, you know, of course, I'm a big fan of Raghav myself, and I think it was great to catch up with Raghav after so long, and you know, to find out what he's been up to. So there's a lot more projects coming out from Raghav, so look out for it. Make sure you follow him on Raghav Worldwide, as well as you can join us. Be ready hoyo. Shout out to Jaden Artist, man. Big up, shout out to everybody that joined in. Kat Kumar joined in, Juggy, all the artists that joined in. Raja Kumari, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for